So today I'm going to be working on running boards, at least this running board. Well, let's go take a look at it. So I have widened the fender. It's not finished yet. I still got to keep welding and grinding on it, but I thought I would move on to the running board. That way I can get this done. If there's any adjustments here, I can still do that without completely taking stuff apart. So all right, so here's the running board. So it's not quite perfect with this, but you know, it could be close. You see it's pretty good inside here. We come over here and it's pretty close there, you know, within reason. Here's where the issue is. Now that I've widened it, it comes out, you'd almost think that this would be 2 inches wider, but it's not. Almost like that fender was in or something, but anyway, this is where it's gonna be now. So and you can also see that this is dropped. You see I lowered it down. So when you look at this way, you see that this is way down compared to that. This has to be up to that. So we'll get that straightened out. I'll cut this, send it up like that. But or I will lengthen this. There's, you know, a couple ways to do this. Anyway, so the whole problem now is that this all lines up-ish, sort of, and this doesn't. So what am I gonna do? You could do a couple different things. One, you could take and you could ramp this out a little, and that kind of gives it a little bit of a fishtail there. You could slit this and pull this out and have that whole thing, you know, slid out just a little bit and tapered, but which I was originally going to do. But now after looking at this running board and how pitted it is, you know, and compromised it is, between this one and the other one, I've decided to make my own running boards. So in order to do that, I've got some sheet metal and I've got a pipe. The other thing I'm going to do is we're going to look down the side of this, and we're going to notice that that rear fender sticks out quite a bit more. It almost looks like that front fender is kind of tipped in a little. So I'm going to try, I might not get this right. I'm going to try to make that flow together from here all the way to the front of this fender here, the front of the rear part of that fender, which then tells me that maybe this piece may have to be pulled out. So we'll see where I end up with it. You know, things change as you go. That's just the way it is. But I wanted to start kind of with something that's original, and I will create something that's not. There you go. So I'm starting the process. I took the original running board off. I ran a string from here to there, give me an idea on how much wider this really has to be too, see? So this is gonna have to get widened out through here, all through here to kind of taper into the fender the way it's supposed to be. So I just wanted to kind of do a quick look at that. And you can see that's the way it would go. So there's the next step. Cutting it, fender, so we can pull it out. I've only gone back to here. I may have to come back just a little bit more, but this fender's bent in right here. So I'm gonna hammer this out first, and that might be enough that I can twist this to follow the contour here. So there you go. So there I did. I cut along my tape line here. You can see how much I had to widen this. That's 1 inch. And then now my string is touching, and it's pretty good all the way down, even though that my Fender's a little wavy, so I still have to do some hammer and dolly work. But what I also did was when you pull this away, this angle stays straight, and the angles don't match up anymore. So I hammered and dollied this down and try to get this. So now I just have to build around here like that, and then this is just going to get feathered in. When I push that in and weld it, that'll just get nice and feathered in. So that's it, and this is the way my string looks, and the string will go right to that rear fender. There you go. So what I did on the running board so far is I took the running board, put it on my piece of steel, and I plasma cut along the edge where I wanted this inside arc. Then I took a piece of steel, this is a lot thicker than the original, and I put it on there and tacked it. I also made sure I kept this clamped on there to keep my sheet from bowing, because I don't have that big of a table. And then I decided I was going to put this on before I cut it out of the sheet, because that'll help me with rigidity, because I don't have a big table. So I'm doing what I can do here. So anyway, I have a mark here. I have a mark down at the other end. We're going to cut that. That's going to be the running board. I traced it here. I can cut that off, and same with the other side. And we're going to move on. So now I just roughed it in. So the running board fits. I got some gap issues here, which I kind of expected, which will be taken care of. So now I gotta take care of those gaps, make my flange here, and see how low that is. I'm gonna have to cut this and raise it up to match where I need it to match. But right now the running board is pretty flush to the inside there. It's flush to the inside here, pretty close. This fender still needs a little bit of work. And then we'll get the curve in there, and we'll get the face plate part in there. But before I do that, I gotta have the flanges in the fender, both fenders, and I'd like to have this at least cut off to see where I'm at. So, all right, there we go. So what I ended up doing was making these plates, the end of the fender plate. I just tacked that in a couple spots. Then the other one that goes through the running board, I clamped that to it. And you can see I've got some gap problems, and there's an issue there. So I will have to make all this work. So all I did was took that other plate that matches it and clamped it to it right where I want it. Then I made the other one here, and I tacked it in a few spots along the inside of there. And now I'm starting to make my radius. Now my radius is a 3-inch exhaust tube. That's going to be the radius. This will be cut back, so then it comes down on the radius. And then same with over here. This will be moved in like where it's supposed to be. It'll be trimmed, and that'll be my radius. So that's kind of where I'm at. Right now I'm going to tack this to the running board itself. That way I can flex this in and tack that. Then I'll tack it to the plates, the mounting plates here and here. And then we'll go from there. This is not attached to this at all. This is just down all the way. So then is what I have to do after that. I'll make the plates that the brackets actually go to after I kind of get this straightened out here. Okay, so I have my 3-inch tubing tacked on, a few spots. Now those tacks are too far this way because I'm going to be cutting it off. Up here you can see the heat mark on the tack. I'm going to be cutting it off up here more towards the center of this pipe. And as I go, I'm going to be tacking it again because I have it tacked here, but I'll be holding it down. So I got to cut all the way along here to bring this back farther to where I can actually weld it and smooth it in to make it follow into the curve of this. But that's how I am. And then I'll put my short piece that comes up, and I'll probably only go to here. I won't go all the way up. I'll go to like here, tack that, and then I'll be able to make that all part of my radius, and then that's my running board. Right now I'm having just a slight issue. The fender's a little higher than I wanted it. It's just being held up there right now. I'm gonna probably have to make a little adjustment. And then you can see how I didn't grind that flange all the way down to the radius because I didn't know it. So I'm going to do that also so it all blends in, and then I'll fill with some steel this and this. That'll get all taken care of. So then when this goes on and off, it'll fit. It'll match up here, and it'll match the other side here, which it's flush with, and then that'll be that'll be my different running board. And here's where I ended up. So running boards still need to be fully welded right now, but this gives an idea on what I'm dealing with here, how it goes straight across. This will all get welded in and ground in, and same with this. So this is just going to be nice and smooth around. Get a good idea on what I'm talking about and why I pie cut that front fender. See how it just goes straight right back down to that back fender. I don't know if I really showed this. I got this all tacked up. Everything's all tacked up. Got to fix this one bad spot that I mismeasured. And then next, I have to put the support system underneath here, which I don't think I'll really show. It's just going to be a piece of metal here and then one like this on each side that I can bolt these brackets to. So I think this is really going to be the end of this video on making the running board. Kind of get an idea on what that's actually going to look like. And as I go, of course, you'll see it in other videos. So for this video, I believe that's going to be it.